Hello and welcome to the Amy
And Kyle.
Adventures Podcast, also known as the AKA Podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about all things cycling, marriage and mental health, sometimes a bit of running, although the fella over here sat next to me is not into running, are you?
No, absolutely not.
So it's mainly just cycling because we're both addicted to that.
Absolutely love cycling.
Yeah. Sorry that we didn't do a podcast last week. We're trying to do them every other week and every week if we can. Last week we were otherwise engaged in Mallorca.
We had a great time, didn't we?
Yeah, it was really good. But before we get on to that, we do have a little bit of bad news about Chesty Beau, our dog, who's currently lying on the floor next to us. Don't worry, he's all right now, but just before we went to Mallorca, I was on a walk with Chester and Chester got attacked by another dog, didn't he, Kyle?
He did.
Kyle got a phone call from me crying, didn't you?
I was very concerned.
Yeah. Basically, me and Chester were just on a normal walk, everything was fine. And from a corner, another dog came around the corner before its owner on a lead. It saw Chester and it just locked eyes with him and pelted full dash towards him. The owner obviously hadn't seen that, must have just dropped the lead because of the force of the dog. And it was literally just on top of Chester, just attacking. I was so scared. I honestly thought that he was going to die. I thought he was going to kill Chester. I thought he was just going to keep attacking him till he died. So I was trying to pull Chester. Obviously, you can't put your hand in. I was trying to pull him. And in the old kerfuffle of it, Chester was not fighting back. He was just on his back. I then managed to trip up the curb and fall over onto my side. Then the dogs were on top of me, which was horrible. But I managed to use my brute force, fling myself up in the air, and with that action, the dogs were off me. And then the owner managed to grab her dog. But luckily, Chester came away quite lucky, but he did have a few bites, and he
had 4 or 5 bite marks, didn't he?
Yeah, and he was quite scared for a few days.
A bit shaken up.
Yeah.
When he saw me, he was very shaky, wasn't he?
One of his claws fell off as well, which wasn't very nice for him. And I ended up with a blooming bruised elbow and a bruised hip.
Quite a big bruise as well.
Yeah, my elbow's still really bruised now, so that's a little Chester update for you. But he is back to his normal self now. We've just taken him on a walk. We're using ham and treats to make him feel comfy. And all his bruises and, well, I don't know if he had bruises, but, all his cuts. All his cuts are healed now. Just
and
little
he's
scabs.
fast asleep.
He's currently fast asleep, loving life. And he has also been upgraded to, instead of having dry food, he's now having wet food, which he loves, which I've always been against.
Yeah, but I was always for it. Just because I knew that it didn't upset his stomach.
It wasn't because it upsets his stomach, it's because it blooming stinks the house out.
Yeah, but them sachets aren't too bad.
They do smell bad.
Only when you open them. It's not like, the dog food cans? They're horrible because you leave half in the fridge, don't you?
Oh, God, no.
So we don't bother with them.
Well, they just stink, and I just think, when you put him into this bowl, it's all gloopy.
Yeah, but he loves it.
Ugh. But yeah. So we've upgraded him to them because when he wasn't very well, I thought, I'll give him this nice food because he really likes it. And now that he's used to it, if I just give him dry food, he just turns his nose up at it. He won't eat it.
Got the life of luxury now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's turned into a little spoilt child now. So, yeah. But that's enough of the bad news. On to the more positive news. We had a really good time in Mallorca, didn't we, Kyle?
We did, yeah.
But it wasn't easy.
No.
Let me tell you one word to sum up that trip. Headwind.
It just seemed like a never-ending headwind.
It was horrible, honestly. You think, let's go to Mallorca. It's going to be blue sky, sunny weather, perfect cycling destination. We turn up, rain clouds, headwind, and long sleeve weather, not short sleeve. But it was really good because the reason we went was to get some training in for my Tour de France, because it's only 13 weeks until I'm going to be riding about 6,300 kilometres in 28 days, plus 2 rest days, so 30 days in total. Every stage in the men's Tour de France, plus the transfers for a mental health charity. So I've got to get the long day mileage in. Kyle's got the stats of what we did, haven't you, Kyle, ready and loaded?
I have indeed. Statman. Do you want to hear it now?
Well, yeah, that's why I said it, Kyle.
We did 567 miles, or 912.5 kilometres, and 32 feet of climbing, or 12,019 metres.
What's that the equivalent of, Kyle? Because you were very interested in that,
well,
weren't you?
Yeah. It was the equivalent of 1.35 Everests. I don't know why I worked that out.
That's so
Or
random.
11 Snowdens.
11 Snowdens?
It was a nice round number for Snowden.
You like Snowden, don't you?
I do. And we was in the saddle for 37 hours and 43 minutes.
Oof.
And our average speed for all of the rides was 15 miles an hour, or 24.2 kilometres per hour.
Yeah, to be fair, we did keep every single ride we did 15 miles an hour.
Yeah, which was not bad considering the conditions.
And we were there
for climbing.
Yeah, we were there for 5 days, but the first day we got there, we just did a short ride, like 40 miles, and the rest of the days we did long rides. But the longest ride we did was a lap of the island, which was 193 miles, or like 311 kilometres. That was a hard day because we literally, for some reason, we thought, oh yeah, we'll do it this day, and we stuck to that day. It was the day with the worst amount of headwind, rained,
We
and
had
it was
to
just
stop, didn't we, on the descent
Yeah.
down to Solaire.
yeah. On one of the descents, I was literally gonna get blown off my bike. We had to stop.
If one of us actually said, like, let's back out of this is not very good, we probably would have done. But because we're both so determined, we'd never say that to each other.
No, we never
So
give
we
up.
just carry on.
We're just like, got to get on with it. Let's keep going. I don't think there's ever been a time. Like, even yesterday, we did a ride. It was my birthday yesterday, and we did a 97-mile ride. And, like, it was really, really hilly, the route I planned, and we had really bad headwind again. And on the way back, there was, like, two options. I planned the route, and the way back I'd planned was really hilly. And there is an option to just go down a flatter road. But instead of doing that, like, even though both of us are probably thinking, oh, we should just go down the flat road, it'd be easier. Both of us won't say it. So we both just end up doing the hilly route because we're determined just to
I'm too headstrong.
to do the route we've planned, even though, yeah, I could make it easier for ourselves sometimes. But we do like to stick to what we've planned, don't we?
The thing is with the peaks as well, there's one thing being hilly, and in the peaks it's just unrelenting. Like, it just carries on.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, sometimes you can do a really hilly ride and have plenty of descending and stuff, but that was just brutal yesterday.
Yeah. But anyway, getting back to Mallorca, it was really good. It kind of gave me a little bit more confidence for Tour de France, but at the same time, it kind of made me think, what the hell have I signed up for here? Because that was 4 days of long rides. I'm going to have to times that by 7 and do 28 days. My bum's going to be in bits.
Well, that's enough emo, isn't it?
I'm going to be out of action for about 10 years after that, Kyle.
You don't want me.
Sorry to tell you.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
I mean, I don't like. I know I'm going to do it. I'm very determined, but there is a part of my mind that's like, can I physically do it? Like, my head's determined to do it, but I don't know if I hope my body can. That's what I'm worried about.
It can, 100%.
Because I'm like, you know what I'm like. I do worry about everything, and I think, you know, what happens if like I get an injury, or it's the heat as well that's stressing me out. Because it wasn't hot in Mallorca.
No.
And
Well, it was warm. It's still warm, wasn't it?
it was warm, but it wasn't as hot. Like, in France, it's going to be like 30
I
degrees.
think the hottest it got while I was in Mallorca was like 24 degrees, wasn't it?
Yeah, it could be like 30, could even be 40 degrees.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really long days and, you know, sweat.
But we are going to take a lot of precautions for that.
Yeah, we're going to have ice vest, aren't I?
Yeah, ice vest.
Oh, and what the pros do, ice in tights.
This is one we were thinking about.
When I went to the Tour de France last year, I saw a little trick that the pros do, which is where they get tights, you know, women's tights, put a load of ice into the end of the tights, like, and then put the tights down your back. So then when the ice melts, you're just left with a pair of tights, which is really light.
Also, it's something that I learned. Someone told me before. It's something to do with, do you know, putting it down your neck and your back.
Yeah, because that's where
It's like to regulate your temperature.
Yeah, and your wrists.
Yeah, and when we did Paris, one thing that we always did was have a bottle to squirt, because it was really hot there, wasn't it? Was to squirt cold water down your neck and your back.
Yeah.
And it kept you a nice temperature.
And it's made me learn a few things, like the day we got really, really drenched in Mallorca, that's made me think, on a day like that, if it's torrential rain, it might be worth like having a towel with you, Kyle,
And not
so I
only
can
that,
dry
you'll
off and
need
change
me with
kit.
you.
Yeah, because it's a lot harder, like when you're wet, and if you get cold, that's just...
I was also
Energy
thinking like
zapping.
the waterproof trousers.
Yeah, Kyle wants to get me some waterproof slacks.
No, I do, yeah, because I just think saving your legs getting wet and cold, that's a really horrible feeling.
Yeah.
And stopping it spraying onto your bib shorts,
Yeah.
because that's what can cause the sores.
Yeah.
When your bib short stuff get wet, that's what causes a lot of the...
Problem is,
rubbing.
Kyle, I think the amount of sweat I'm going to be doing in the heat, they're probably already going to be wet, let's be honest.
No, but if we can manage it on a really wet day,
Yeah.
I think that's a sensible thing to do.
But and also I'm going to hopefully maybe change my bib shorts halfway through the day, like when I have my lunch.
100%, yeah.
Put fresh bib shorts on just to like prevent anything, you know, down there going haywire.
Keep it
'Cause
fresh.
Keep it as fresh as possible. Sorry, am I boring you there, Kyle? Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
What else did I learn in Mallorca? Probably just that I'm absolutely insane to even... Why did I decide to do it?
I think it actually gave you a lot of confidence, though.
It did give me confidence, but it also made me think, what the blooming heck am I doing? But then I remind myself, I know why I'm doing it. It's because, A, I'm doing it for mental health. I want to prove that you just keep going through the hard times. It's going to be hard. And I want to like prove that no matter how hard it gets, you keep going. Unless, you know, you physically can't. I want to inspire people. I want to prove a woman can do it. And I suppose in a way, like for my own, how I am, I always need something to aim towards. And if I'm, like, you know, going off on a tangent here and maybe a little bit deep, but I never feel good enough. And I always feel like I need a challenge to like feel good enough. Like I've always, since I've started cycling, I've always challenged myself for different things, and I think it just gives me a sense of purpose to have something to aim towards. And I'll probably do it, and I'll probably get to the end and still not feel good enough. But you never know; it might give me some
I should hope you do.
some self-worth. I don't know, but why do we put ourselves through pain and challenges? I don't know. It's just the way some people are, I guess.
Well,
It's the way I'm
I think
wired.
it almost makes you feel human as well, doesn't it? Like, you're always going to suffer doing things at a challenge, but that's what makes you stronger. Also, highs and lows. There's always going to be highs and lows, but you've got to embrace both.
Yeah,
You've got to embrace the lows as well. Like,
yeah,
it's never going to be plain sailing. Because if you didn't have the lows, you'd never feel the high. So you do have to remember that.
yeah. And I knew this anyway before, but it's so weird how on a bike ride you can go through one moment where you're like so high and so happy and absolutely loving it and like just on top of the world, to then like an hour later being like, oh, why am I doing this? I can't do it. It's so hard. Like you get those ebbs and flows.
It changes so quickly.
Yeah.
As well.
But in those low moments, you just got to like keep yourself going, keep yourself motivated. I always think of like the end of the ride and how I'm going to feel, and like even just like break it down into like, right, 5 miles and then I can eat this bar, or 3 miles and then I've only got this many miles left. I just like look at the miles, try and break it down, distract myself, try and look around, and then an hour later you're back feeling really high again.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is to do with how far you are into the ride and like looking at the miles, and sometimes you can get really focused on, oh, I've still got this far to go, and that can make you feel low if it's been a hard day. But also I think a lot of it has to do with energy as well, because I always notice if I'm really like if I'm starting to get a bit hungry, my mood's going to dip, whereas after I've just had a snack or something, I'm normally feeling good. So I've learned definitely just to keep the fuel going in. And I do eat every 45 minutes now on a ride. I'm trying to get like 50 to 90 grams of carbs in per hour, which before I started training for this, I never really used to look at that. And I have noticed since I've been doing that my energy's been a lot better on rides. I think it's so easy to underfuel and not realise.
Yeah, I think also if you feel like you don't need it if you didn't feel like you needed it before, we would have just ate to feel. But now it's keeping it maintained has a big effect afterwards as well.
Yeah.
So how you feel after the ride.
Yeah, like my coach has been telling me to obviously have a big meal like breakfast before my ride, but like to front load energy at the start of a ride, so you're giving yourself a good start. And then also at the end of the ride, don't think, oh, I've only got, my last 45 minutes, I won't eat anything because I've only got 45 minutes left. That's not good. Whereas before I would do that. Now I don't, because my coach has told me like eating right to the end of the ride, that's going to help your recovery, and that's going to be so important. And anyone doing like multi-day rides, like recovery is one of the most important things, because if you're not letting your body recover properly, you're only going to make yourself weaker, and then you're not going to be able to keep going. And that's going to be really important, because 30 days is a long time. And if I'm, say I don't start off right and I have the first week I'm not recovering properly, I'm not eating enough, I'm just not going to be able to do it, because my body will just...
And you won't be able to catch up.
It'll be depleted like a little wilting leaf in autumn. Falling off a tree.
You'll look like a wilted leaf.
Hope I don't fall off the side of any coals.
Yeah, let's not think about that.
Plumb my neck. I've so many different worries in my head about... I always think of like... I think everyone does, but instead of thinking like what could go right and like, oh, I'm going to do it and it's going to be really good, I'm thinking of all the things that could go wrong. I've even thought about, descending down a mountain, coming off the side.
I think that's quite
All
natural
those
though.
sort
You
of
don't tend to
things.
think about the things that are going to go well.
There's a lot of
do you?
worries. Being hit by a car,
The French are good.
headwind all day, every day, torrential rain all day, every day, saddle sores, injury. Am I selling this to you, Kyle?
It's not me doing it, so you don't need to say it to me.
All these different things. But then I think, but think about all the good things, like the money you're going to raise for charity, the feeling at the end, like hopefully how many people you can inspire to believe in themselves and not let negative thoughts stop you. Because if I listen to all the worries and negative thoughts, there's no way I'd even say I was going to do it. So, yeah.
Hopefully as well you'll come out of it believing in what you're capable of.
Yeah.
Which
Fingers
I think
crossed.
a lot of people believe in you, but you don't always believe in yourself.
Yeah, and we're doing something even bigger next year, aren't we, Kyle? So
Yeah, so this is going to be a nice little ramp up for that.
yeah, but we can't talk about that yet.
No, don't talk about it then.
Deep in the planning stages of that.
Yeah.
And that one's not just me on my own, is it, Kyle?
No.
You're doing that too. And
So I do need to keep training this year.
you got no choice about that. You've already agreed with me.
Yeah.
You pinkied me.
Yeah.
That could lead to saddle sores too, Kyle. So
Yeah.
all those things are just
I
listed
mean,
worries.
any long ride could lead to a saddle sore.
Yeah, so you better strap in and get ready. That's all I can say. Or should I say, you better whack your bib shorts on and strap them over your shoulders and get ready. Anyway, let's move on to the moan minute. Kyle, do you want to go first?
Yeah. What can I moan about?
I've got one ready if you want me to
Have
go
you?
first.
You go first, because
Okay.
I need to think.
If you've not listened to the podcast before, every week we do a moan minute because us Brits love to have a moan, and we just think sometimes if you let your moan out, it just makes you feel good, and it's also a bit of a laugh to have a bit of a moan about random things. So, Kyle, are you ready to time me? I've got 1 minute.
3, 2, 1.
Right, my moan minute this week is a bit similar to yours, Kyle, but from last week, but it's not the same. Airports. Just airports in general. First of all, how long you have to spend at the airport. I mean, I know you've got to get there early so you don't miss your flight, but every time you get there, you go through check-in and you have to wait at least an hour and a half, twiddling your thumbs, paying expensive prices. That's point number 2. The cost of things in an airport. A coffee, or I don't even drink coffee, but maybe a chai latte, you're talking at least over £5. A coffee over £5. It's daylight robbery. I wanted a bit of health. The only bit of health I could find in the airport was a packet of fruit from a well-known brand, and guess how much it cost me? £5.70. I'm not joking you, for a handful of fruit, and what I can describe as soggy fruit. It wasn't even nice flavours.
10 seconds.
And number 3 is the germs. It's like living in a cesspit of germs in there. Coughing central. If you've got a cough, wear a mask and don't cough in my face. Thank you very much.
No.
Airports just stress me out. They're just horrible, aren't they, Kyle? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of airports.
Just all you have to lug
I think
everything
it's pretty
around.
obvious when I'm in an airport, I'm not a fan of it.
No. I mean, I know I'm very grateful to be going in an airport, to be going on holiday or whatever I'm going, but I just don't like the airport experience.
I'll be the first to admit, though, I'm usually grouchy in the morning when I'm in an airport, so I'm not in a good headspace anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not a good vibe.
And also, another point is like when you come off the plane, it's not just go straight home, it's wait hours for your luggage. The bikes always come off last. Just
We had
stood
to wait
around waiting.
ages.
And when we went to the airport on the way back from Mallorca, the lift was broken in the car park.
Well, that was the worst
Don't
bit.
know what you would have done if you were disabled, but we had all the
Birmingham Airport.
we had
again.
all the bags, all the bikes. Kyle had to go up the stairs, didn't you, and bring the van down?
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed.
And we got off the plane. It took 2 hours to get from getting off the plane to getting in the car for then a 2-hour drive home because it took that long for our bikes to come out.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
It was just... And
Right, you're dragging your moan minute on now.
And yeah, but everyone was coughing as well towards me,
no,
it felt
no, it's
like. This one woman sneezed and didn't even put a hand over her mouth.
It's when they look at you and they do it.
And I'm like, what?
So you're aiming, you sneeze at me.
It's just rank.
Yeah, as you're like wiping your eyes because it's just gone all in your face.
Yeah. And also, did you know, because I do my coaching course, that your immunity's a bit lower after you've done like a lot of long riding.
It will be, yeah.
So like the day after a long ride, you shouldn't really travel, but obviously we did. So our immunity would have been lower in the airport. So I don't know what we had, but somehow our immunity was good because the amount of sneezing and coughing on that
No, to
plane
be fair,
home.
I've said to you this week, I don't think I've been 100%.
Wow.
But I do take something called echinacea,
Oh, that's really good.
which
I
I
do
actually
that.
think shields
Yeah.
against the cold and flu.
But I do also think that every time I beat you on a climb, on a ride at home, you always try and blame it on that you're not feeling 100%.
No, you did hear my breathing yesterday, didn't you?
Because yesterday we went up Mam Tour and you never mentioned you weren't feeling very well until after I beat you up it, so...
Yeah, well, I was on Dragon Hill, I was wheezing. And I beat you up that.
Yeah, I know
And
you beat
I told
me
you
up
I was
that.
wheezing, I said I couldn't breathe.
But you didn't say you didn't feel very well until after I beat you. So
No, I said the
I
same.
sometimes feel like, it's a bit of an excuse.
No, I did say the same on top of Dragon Hill when I beat you up that.
Yeah.
I said to you when at the top, just stop a minute because I can't breathe.
Yeah, but up Dragon Hill I wasn't racing you.
Yeah, no, but I would have beat you anyway.
Well, no, because you don't know that because I wasn't racing you.
Yeah, but you...
But the whole point of the ride was to go and race up Man Tour. So I was saving myself for that.
No, that was your idea.
Yeah. And I was saving myself for that, and then I beat
Also,
you.
anyway, props due.
Kyle wants to move on because he doesn't
No,
like it.
credit due where credit's due. You whooped me up that fair and square.
Mm.
And that's not, in no defence, that is your sort of climb.
Yeah. To be fair, you did beat me up all the other climbs the whole day.
Anyway, can I have my moment
Yeah,
now?
sorry, I extended that.
By quite a lot.
Right, hang on, let me get my timer.
It's alright, I'll put mine on.
Oh, no. I have to time you because you're not allowed to know until you've got 10 seconds left.
Alright, okay.
That's the fun of it. You've got to kind of,
I don't think it'll take long, but...
Right, hang on. Stopwatch. I think I'd timed mine quite well there.
You went over a little bit.
I did extend it, but anyway. Right, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, action.
My moment minute is when you go to the petrol station and you're waiting there to get to the pump and someone's just having a glorious jolly inside the shop. And then when they walk out, they can see you waiting and they think, oh, I forgot something. let's go back in. Or then they'll get in the car, and then they'll just start like taking the time, rearranging stuff in the car, putting, I don't know, fragrances on inside the car. Like, hurry up, mate! You can see I'm waiting. I've got to get to work. I'm not waiting here for a laugh. Like, just get your stuff in your car, move out the way. I don't care if you move out your way and then faff around with your car. Just get away from the pump. Like, people are so inconsiderate. And I've actually had it last week where someone came out to the car, taking the time, walking over, saw me there, and then smiled and went, oh, I forgot something, and walked straight back in. I thought, you're taking a mick. I actually ended up moving to another pump because the other person took less time. Anyway, over and out.
I agree with that, Kyle.
Yeah,
that really annoys me too.
That does actually really wind me up.
When I go to fill my fuel up, which is not very often actually, because I don't really drive very much, to be honest. I don't know why I've got a car.
You've got a low carbon footprint.
Yeah, well, not really with the amount of flights I do, but...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Sorry about that.
Lower than mine.
When I go to the petrol, though, I literally, because I'm so worried about the person behind me waiting, because I'm thinking if I'm waiting, I'm getting annoyed, I literally go in there as fast as I can, speed march back to the car.
I feel bad.
Yeah, I do. Get in, like, strap myself in as quick as I can and go.
I feel bad if I'm taking too long.
So do I, because I'm, like, stressed thinking,
people obviously don't think the way I think.
They're waiting. Maybe I should take my time a bit more.
Some people look dead chilled out.
No, they don't care.
Just oblivious to what's going on around them.
I sometimes think, I wonder what it's like to have a brain like that.
I'd love it.
Where you don't like, actually think about
Actually, no, I wouldn't
other
love it,
people.
then you wouldn't feel
Wouldn't be
bad.
a very nice person, would you?
Not really. But yeah, but some of them do come across as nice people. They're just away with the fairies.
Yeah, they're not really thinking about it.
Yeah. Like, they're just having a glorious little day.
Maybe they don't have anywhere to get to.
Well, they might not have, but they're blocking everyone else that is trying to get somewhere.
Anyway, yeah, that's a good moan this week. I think you might have beat me this week on that.
Another one that goes alongside that is someone that double parks in like the tyre inflator machine. At a petrol station near me, there's a tyre inflator machine with like 2 bays, and someone once just parked bang in the middle of the 2 of them and took both spaces up to inflate their tyres. I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh, God.
So that annoyed me as well.
Inconsiderate people, Kyle.
Yeah, I've got stuff to be doing.
I like to think you're a very considerate member of society.
I am, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Old doors for people. You've seen it. I'm very
We
sure
weren't considerate members of society yesterday, were we? We got shouted out the window by someone. We were just riding along. So yesterday it was my birthday, and we did a ride out to Mamtor, as you've already heard about, because I beat Kyle up there. Did I mention that, Kyle?
I don't think you mentioned it. No?
And we were just riding along, freewheeling down a hill, one behind the other, I might point out. Now, I can't speak...
Perfectly behind each other.
I can't speak for Kyle because I wasn't looking behind at him, but I know that I was by the edge of the road, freewheeling down. I wasn't taking up more road than I needed to.
We was actually descending, weren't we?
We were just descending.
So
right?
I thought I'd stay right behind you because I thought I'll give him a chance to get past.
Yeah. There's a car behind us, all fine. Didn't go past us. I thought maybe it's just, being cautious, which I'd rather. Got to a junction to turn left. The car went past, wound the window down and went, keep single file, and stuck their finger up at us. I was thinking, we are single file. Yeah. And actually, mate, if you read the highway code, I don't like to get it out often, but maybe I should keep it in my back pocket of my jersey just for these idiots. The law is to ride 2 abreast.
Yeah, I almost shouted back saying, thanks, thickets, but we're actually disobeying the law while riding single file. Next time I'll ride 2 abreast to really annoy you. But because I'm considerate, I don't do that.
Yeah. So I was I was a bit like, what are they shouting for?
We was actually being considerate, which is annoying.
And I was like, it's a Saturday. Chill out. It's the
where
weekend.
are you going?
You're not got anywhere to rush to. I mean, if you go wherever, most people, if you're not working, and they clearly weren't because they were in walking wear, so obviously it's been on a nice walk. You normally just go into your friend's house or family's. I'm not sure they're not going to mind if you take just
They must have got
10
lost on
minutes
the walk
longer
or something, and that's probably why they're annoyed.
Yeah, I just feel sorry for them if they're that sad in their life. But I also sometimes think, you have to be considerate because you don't know what's going on with people. Maybe they'd had a really bad day and they just
Yeah,
felt
but there's no need to shout then, is there?
No, but it doesn't really bother me, to be honest.
No, I just laugh.
I find it quite funny.
Yeah.
It's like negative comments I get sometimes.
It's just a bit like, just chill out.
I know.
They need to take a leaf out of the Spanish book. Just tranquilo.
Yeah, it's a lot more tranquil out there, got to say. People are less in a rush. The cars are a lot more considerate.
Oh, yeah, they don't care. You almost feel bad for them.
Yeah, because they're so cautious. They don't go past you for
Sometimes
ages.
you're waving past and just like, no.
Yeah, they're not bothered. Whereas in this country, gee whiz, I've been on a ride this morning, 40 miles. The amount of cars that went so close to me.
They
so
do it on
close.
purpose sometimes.
They go so close. And it was really windy today as well. I thought I was going to get whipped off into a bush at one point. I thought, blooming heck, mate, till have your wing mirror off. And I'll keep it as well, pay towards my injury claim, sell it on the black market or something.
You don't need to sell it on the black market.
What's the black market again?
That's like illegal stuff.
Oh, right. Well, it would be illegal if they've knocked it off and I'd kept it. If they if
Well, it's
they
their own
bump
fault,
into
I'd
me and the
say.
wing mirror comes off, I'll take that.
I'll say it's their fault.
It's mine now.
I think it'd hurt if you knocked it off.
Anyway, that went off on a random tangent. I think my head's a bit skewiff at the minute.
Skewiff or skewiff?
Skewiff.
Skewiff. Is it was? Skewiff.
Skewiff is the word, isn't it?
I thought it was skewiff.
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 Yeah.
What? Skewiff. Wait, spell that out.
I don't know how to spell it.
Go on, try and spell it.
Skewiff.
Yeah, go on then.
Skewwith.
Right, I thought it was skewiff as in Skiwif.
Skewiff.
Yeah, wait,
Well,
let's Google it.
That's a different.
I've always said...
We was both brought up in different areas, so I think
Skewiff.
that's...
You're saying with th on the end.
Skewiff. Yeah.
Ski...
Yep.
Whiff. Here we are. Skewiff. I got it right, Kyle. It's Skewiff, so just miss one F off. Don't know what you're saying.
Oh.
You're saying skewiff.
When I lived in Lincolnshire, you say skewiff.
It says it's a British informal adjective meaning not straight. Yeah, that's what my mind is at the minute. It's often used to describe something that is lopsided or wonky. Yeah, my brain right now, because it's going from one topic to the next. So I'm really sorry to anyone listening to this podcast. Because, oh, now what? Someone's at the door.
Parcel.
Parcel?
I best go and get it.
Right, go on then. We'll pause it and re-come back. Go on, you can get it. What is it?
We'll reconvene.
What is it?
Oh, Chester.
What have you been ordering now, Kyle? As you can see, the dog's really well trained not to bark. Chester, come here. The amount of parcels we get is mental.
All sorted.
What is it, Kyle?
I think I ordered you a glass jar.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I ordered you a glass jar, didn't I?
Yeah. Is that come?
And some staples.
Staples?
Yeah, but that'll be no concern to you.
That for your building?
Yes.
Oh, my glass jar. I'm excited about that because I've been listening... Chester, do you mind,
What's your
mate?
back chat?
I've been listening to this really good podcast called Stompcast by Dr. Alex George. If you like a podcast, I definitely recommend it. The last 3 episodes have been by somebody who's a specialist in protein, and he was giving you some really good recipes for getting more protein in your diet. So my porridge is about to get a protein upgrade. So I've literally ordered loads of stuff to add into my porridge, like milled flax seeds, hemp seeds, cacao, which is what my jar is for, raw cacao.
Cacao's
I love
different
that
to
word.
cocoa, though, isn't it?
Yeah, cacao's different to cocoa. Cacao is raw
Same
chocolate.
family?
Yeah, same family, but cacao is like raw chocolate powder. Then it's quite high in protein, and it's got lots of different like, antioxidants and stuff.
Right.
So basically, my porridge is getting an upgrade. What do you think, Kyle?
Very nice. Yeah, I thought cacao was different because I've read something about it somewhere before. I think
Because I've been trying to
that
get
was a cycling thing.
Yeah, I've been trying to get my protein up. So that's good that my jar's come, because the packet I've got the cacao in, which I really love saying. If I open it, it's going to go everywhere because it's like really full.
Unresealable as well.
Yeah, it's not resealable. So thanks for that, Kyle.
Yeah, always thinking.
Really appreciate that. Anyway, moving on to upcoming plans.
Mm-hmm.
Garage extension still going on.
Not far off done though. In fact, I'm pestering you now.
Yeah, you want me to look at some shelving, don't you?
I could do it, but then you won't be happy with it.
No, I want it to be good.
So, I've nearly done my bits now. And now I'm pressuring Amy to come up with her design, how she wants it.
Yeah, because I'm quite
It's the exciting bit for you now.
a bit particular about it.
Yeah, but it's the exciting bit for you.
Yeah. And then other than that, we're just, riding.
Mm-hmm.
We've got weekend rides planned. We've got an Audax in a few weeks. I've got 2 weeks left at my job, which feels crazy. And then I'm going to be doing full-time YouTube cycling. So I'm really, really excited, but I'm also quite nervous and quite... I don't know, I feel like I've not really had time to fully process that I'm doing it, but it's a good thing and I'm looking forward to it. And again, like I never in a million years thought I would get to this point. So I'm really, really grateful. And it just means I'll have more time to focus on riding my bike, hopefully inspiring more people, doing more mental health stuff, and just
having
a better
more
balance.
time in general.
Yeah, having a better balance, because my brain is very busy, because I am very busy. And I think sometimes, even if it's really fun, enjoyable stuff, you can still do too much of a good thing. So I've got to get that balance. But speaking of a mental health point, Like, I always, around my birthday, I love my birthday, obviously, everyone does, but I always have a little tinge of sadness because it's this time 4 years ago when everything hit the pan, as I like to say. Because it's this time 4 years ago when I went off on annual leave from my job as a mental health nurse for my birthday, my 25th. It was Easter and I thought, oh, I'll have a week off for my birthday. And it was when I had that week off that everyone sort of realised how much I wasn't coping. And I never went back to work because I had that week off and I just couldn't go back, could I, Kyle?
Well, you didn't go back to that job.
No.
Yeah.
Never went back to being a nurse. I just, yeah, if you've read my book and stuff like that and seen my Instagram, then
It was the right decision.
yeah, you'll know a bit about what happened. And
Also, I
I'm
had to
gonna go
remind
into
you
all now.
yesterday as well. Even though you can look at that in a bad way, from this point of view now, you can look at it in a positive way and say, "Look how far I've come." So it's actually quite a nice thing to look back on. As bad as the time as it was, it's nice to look at the positive side of that now.
Yeah, I'm so
Like the
grateful.
difference is incredible.
I'm so grateful to be where I am now. Back then, I was just so mentally unwell. You couldn't even get a normal conversation out of me. I was not myself. I wasn't my happy, cheerful self. I could put an act on when I was out, when I was at work working as a nurse. That's why a lot of my colleagues were really shocked because they had absolutely no idea. Because I was so good at putting a mask on and pretending I was fine, when inside I completely was not. And I think that's why it's so important to, as soon as you start to feel like you're struggling or if you feel like you're not coping, don't put off getting help. Get help, talk to someone. It doesn't mean you're a weak person. It doesn't mean you're a failure. Because I think I was so worried to admit I was struggling because I was so desperate not to be unwell. I wanted everyone to think I was fine. I didn't want anyone to have to worry about me. I didn't want anyone to think I was weak. I didn't want anyone to think I was struggling because I just had this thing in my head of I'm a mental health nurse. I can't not be okay. I've got to be okay. But actually, we're all just human. We're all going to struggle at some point in our lives to different varying degrees. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't make you a weak person. And now I always look back at that time from when I was so unwell and really struggling in life and having really bad intrusive thoughts. I mean, I got to a point where I thought I was blooming going to prison, for goodness sakes. I thought something bad was going to happen at work. It'd be my fault. I'd be struck off the register. And then my snowball mind went to, I'd be struck off the register, coroner's court, we're in prison. I mean, I can look back now and think that's absolutely ridiculous. But in the time, it was so real. Yeah, it was just awful. And I never want anyone to have to go through that. But I think that's why I'm so passionate about spreading that message of just don't give up, because it was so easy after that. Once I got through it, it took a few months, well, a lot more than a few months to get rid of those intrusive thoughts and a lot of work. But then after that came a real sense of failure and I've done a degree in mental health nursing. I've not used it. I'm a failure. No one's ever want to employ me again. All of these horrible thoughts of just basically you're not worth even being here because you're just a waste of space. But I got through that, and a lot of that is to do with finding cycling. 4 years ago is when I started cycling, and obviously a lot of it's to do with I'm really grateful that I've got a really supportive family. I've got you, Kyle, and I had counselling and I had Chester. He's a big help. I used to go walking with Chester a lot. And just, I got through it. And within 6 months, you know what I'm like, I don't like having time off. So I carried on. I was a swim teacher as well, so I didn't actually have proper time off, which I should have done. But I retrained and now I work in finance in the NHS. But never did I think I'd be saying, oh, now I'm doing YouTube and cycling. So
It's all worked out for the better.
it's crazy, really. And I always think if I didn't go through that, I'd probably still be working as a nurse. Maybe I wouldn't have had a breakdown, but I probably wouldn't be happy because I was never really happy doing that. Yeah.
I did actually find the Carrera.
Oh, it's in the back garden.
Yeah, I've had to sort out the garage.
Yeah, the
so
original
I am
bike.
going to clean the Carrera up, and it's going to have a proud place in the garage.
Yeah, I will hang it up.
When it's all done properly.
That was my first ever bike, and it's the bike that I, 2 months or 3 months after starting cycling, I cycled 160 miles from here to our caravan in Wales. And yeah.
It's hilarious to look at that bike though, because it was the wrong size for you.
It's too small.
There's seat post was as high as it could go. It had an adjustable handlebar stem that's angled right up so she could actually fit the bike, and it's still in the same position now.
The most uncomfy looking saddle I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, it was like a mattress. of a saddle.
A really big fat
Yeah.
fat saddle, like
I'm
not
actually,
comfy.
but I am going to clean it up. I'm going to re-oil it all and then put it up in the garage. And it'd be nice to look back on and keep it.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, like I was so happy out on my bike. It was the one time where I felt like when I felt so worthless, it made me feel worthy. Like doing that long ride in a day, it just gave me such a sense of achievement that I'd not felt in so long. And it wasn't pressured because it wasn't to do with work. It wasn't to do with having to do it. It was I wanted to do it. And yeah, I'm just so grateful for it. And now that's why I love cycling so much, because it's the one time where my mind can just be my mind. I've got quite a busy mind and it just helps to calm me. And being outside in general, I just love being outside with nature. So I'm very, very grateful for it. And I always think at this time of year, like, this was my lowest point in my life 4 years ago today. But now I'm like in such a better place. And I'm not saying like, oh, if I can do it, you can do it too, because it's not as simple as that. Everyone's so different. But I do genuinely believe that anyone that struggles with their mental health, like, you can get through it. And good times are always on the way. And you just have to not give up. And you just have to remind yourself of the happy times.
No, you can and you will get through it.
Yeah, you can and you will. That's what I always say, I can and I will.
Yeah,
When I'm struggling.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, you know, it's different for everyone. Like, some people might struggle all of their life, but that doesn't mean you can't have a happy life.
Yeah, you just got to take the positives from what you can.
Yeah. There's always going to be good moments.
Yeah.
And when I was struggling, I always used to say to myself, there's always something good in every day, even if I can't say today was a good day. And that's a quote from someone. I don't know who said it, but it really helped me, because I was like, yeah, today's been absolutely shite. Like, I never want to live this day again. It's awful. Everything's rubbish. But if I really look, there is something good. And I don't know where that came from, but I think, like, I've always had that sort of inner determination not to let the negative side of my mind beat me. Because it takes so much hard work to get through a mental illness.
Yeah.
It really
A lot
does.
of what you hear at work is anyone can pick fault with anything. It's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Like, anyone can find good in something. If you really look for anything, you can find fault or good in anything. So just look for it.
Yeah, look for the good, not the bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's not easy. It's so hard. I think the hardest thing is I know it sounds weird, but you've got to want to get better.
Yeah, it's pointless, like, trying to will someone to get better if they don't want that themselves.
And you might say that sounds weird. Surely everyone that's like got depression wants to get better.
Yeah, it's not the case.
But it's not the case, because sometimes, like, in a weird way, like when I
don't
was
think
really
it's a case
low,
of wanting to.
it's just not having the motivation to.
And being in that headspace to try and force yourself to get out of that place.
Because you have to force yourself even when everything inside your head is telling you there's no point trying. And that's the hardest bit. But you have to use the people around you, and you have to use... For me, it was like using the good times I've had in the past and trying to get back to that. And just thinking about my future and what I wanted. And in a weird way, just like coming to the realisation that life is so short and you just have to enjoy as much as you can. Because one day, I know this sounds a bit morbid, but we're all going to be 6 feet under. We're all heading the same way, to the grave. So you might as well blooming enjoy your life till you get there, because you can't take it back.
Guaranteed, isn't it?
Yeah, once you're 6 feet under, you can't take anything back. And I always say, no, you can't have a laugh when you're dead, so you might as well have one while you're alive. So I'll leave you on that positive note. But yeah, and that, I know that sounds weird, but in a weird way, that helps me to think that we're not going to be here forever. Just make the most of your life. We went a bit deep there, like we always do. Whew. I feel like I've had a therapy session again.
Yeah.
We should rename this podcast. I mean, Therapy on the Couch with Amy and Kyle. Kyle's become a full-time counsellor just listening to me.
I'm not really a therapist.
No. But maybe next week I can be your therapist if you want.
My therapist for what?
Have you got any issues you want to talk through right now?
You're my only issues.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. But, actually, Kyle, do you want to end with what you got me for my birthday? Because you did really well this year.
Yeah. So I got you Dior perfume with a Dior makeup bag. Dior lipstick that came in the makeup bag, really. Trainers. I'm trying to think what else I got you. Trainers. Oh, some flannels.
Yeah, I
which
really
were
wanted a
actually
flannel.
weirdly hard to find. They kept coming up with pyjamas.
Really?
When I typed in flannels, it kept coming up with flannel pyjamas. I was like, what even is that? Well, but there's also a shop called Flannels
Yeah,
now,
there
isn't
is.
So,
Yeah.
and then I got you a voucher for Victoria's Secret and a voucher for Zara.
Oh, Victoria's Secret. You've been a bit naughty with that one, weren't you, Kyle?
Well, you did mention it a little while ago. And I used to be so bad at buying Amy birthday presents. So what I do now is every time she tells me, just in passing conversation, that, I could really do with this or I could do with that, I go straight on and write it in my notes.
Yeah.
And I make note of it. So then when it comes to a special occasion, I'm like, I don't even have to think about it because I already know.
Yeah, you did really well this year.
So I always keep track of it now, which is something I never used to do.
I think you're still making up for the time when you forgot our wedding anniversary, aren't you?
No, we don't need to bring that up, do we?
No, I really like. My favourite present was actually my makeup bag. It's so nice. Can't believe you chose that.
Why?
It's like a little meshy makeup bag with little butterflies and flowers all sewn on it, and it's a Dior one.
Yeah.
It's really good, Kyle.
What do you think of that?
Really like it. And I like the train. I got some New Balance trainers. I like them as well.
Yeah.
So I asked for them, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, I actually chose your trainers last year that I bought you.
Yeah.
And these ones, so.
But then the day before my birthday, I started feeling a bit bad because I thought, I'm going to get presents tomorrow. And I'm making Kyle do a hilly bike ride and stuff with me, my birthday. So I ordered you a new aftershave.
Yeah, she ordered me an aftershave for her birthday.
And it arrived on my birthday, a little
Yeah,
present
and I was
for you.
literally, why are you buying me stuff?
Because I felt bad.
In fairness, I did say I'd buy one when I got home from Mallorca, didn't I? But I just never did.
Yeah, and I thought I'm going to treat
And
him
then she did.
because instead of having a normal wife, he probably wants to, if you were a cyclist, probably want to do a nice little tiny cafe ride or just have, a nice dog walk or something on the birthday. I said, let's do a 95-mile ride up Mum Tor.
And I obliged.
Yeah, in the headwind. So
Yes, that was fun.
So that was great.
It was
anyway,
it was a good day.
Yeah, we'll be waffling all day here, and we've got to get to my mum's house. It's Mother's Day today, so we're going to go and have a nice roast dinner. And Carl, you want to show me the garage, don't you? So
Yes, we need to have a bit of a measure.
Okay. You got your measuring tape ready?
I have.
Oh, speaking of measuring tape, we'll just end on this little funny story. So last night, my dad came round for tea, and somehow we got onto the topic of how tall are you? And Kyle is adamant that he's 5'10". He is not 5'10", and my dad was like, "There's no way you're 5'10".
Can I point out, when I was at the doctor's when I was younger with my heart troubles,
yeah,
I used to get measured for height quite a lot because it was just basic, and it was always 5'10".
Well, I don't know
and
what
also,
doctor...
your mum's like 5'10", and I'm pretty much the same height as her.
No, you're a bit shorter than my mum.
Well, we'll
and
see later,
the doctor must be wrong because I know that I'm 5'9". I'm just over 5'9". And my dad was like, "No, he's definitely 5 foot, not 5'10".
Your dad reckoned I was 5'7".
Kyle was adamant he's 5'10". So we measured you this morning, didn't we?
5'9.5".
He's 5'9.5". And even when I measured him, 3 times he made me do it.
Yeah, but
3 different times, and he still said, "Oh, I'm going to double check at work tomorrow." I was like, "Kyle, it's in front of your eyes.
I must have shrunk half an inch.
You're 5'9.5", and just accept it.
Yeah, I've shrunk half an inch.
Blimey neck. If you shrunk in,
That's not a lot.
You
That's
shrink
1 centimetre.
no, you shrink as you get older, but not at this age.
Yeah,
You're only 29.
Yeah, I was on tablet. I've got an excuse though. When I was younger, I was on tablets that stunted my growth.
Kyle, if you're shrinking already, because normally you don't start shrinking, it's when your bones compress together.
Yeah, but you're on a brick
when you get older, but if you're already starting to shrink now, heaven help you in 10 years' time. When you get to 40, you'll be like 4 foot. You've already shrunk half an inch.
My level will be bigger than me.
You've shrunk half an inch in 2 years.
In 2 years? No, I've not measured myself for a long time, have I?
Anyway, right, we'll leave you on that. I bet you'll all be getting your measuring tapes out tonight now. See how tall you are.
Well, yeah. As long as it's not for something else.
Oh, God, dude. Right, we'll leave you on that lovely note. Thank you so much for listening. TT's the FN. Ta-ta for now. Goodbye.
Goodbye.